think that's better. And the cap. Welcome back to the living room. It's probably fine. I could turn it down a bit, I think. I got tired of being in the basement, so now I'm here once again. Last time we got the internet working, we had VLANs. That's pretty much all I did. I've since changed cameras. And changed microphones, and also changed the stand. This one I can pivot easier. It's also smaller. Also, the other stand requires me to use the other camera because part of the stand is mounted to the bottom of the camera. It's a lot nicer of a stand for that reason, but it also means that swapping cameras is a pain. So this is the solution I went with. And actually it's way better because the stand is like a big A-frame, whereas this one's more like a pole, and then it goes out at the bottom. So it fits better where it is. Okay. This is also a different computer. This is just an old desktop of mine. Runs Windows 10. Kind of boring. What I'm gonna do is I've got this cable here. I don't know if it's long enough. Also, I assume the audio's not too loud. I don't know. It's probably fine. We are going to see if this will reach. It should just barely reach. I love it when cables just reach like perfectly. Alright. There's a plug on the display port over here. I gotta yank it. So at some point, I want people to actually watch this. I don't know if anyone's really interested in watching this. At some point, people will be interested in watching this. I just don't know at what point that will be. So let's do a smidge of advertising. At some point I will put another camera somewhere that isn't far away. I just haven't got that far yet because I'm lazy. Why isn't that keyboard working? What's going on here? Hello? Did I not plug it in all the way? What's going on? Oh, okay, there we go. I do now, in fact, have one whole subscriber. I think that's my brother Caleb, since he's the only person that I have told about this at the moment. I too will subscribe. Now I have 2 subscribers. Let's go. Okay. It does not indicate that I'm live right now. It's interesting. I feel like that's kind of important, you know, like that YouTube says, "Oh, I'm live right now." When I started the stream like forever ago. You know what? The only streams that are up are from 4 days ago. But I am live. That's problematic. We're just gonna on-screen keyboard it. I forgot I have that. Where is my on-screen keyboard? There it is. Yeah, I'm live. What's up with that? It's unlisted. Is it an unlisted live? Is that even possible? What? Public. I didn't realize that was even possible. So no wonder I was streaming to nobody. All right, let's see. I assume I still have like the recordings, right? Yeah. Okay, now I'm live. That's kind of funny. Let's go remedy the previous streams and also make sure that by default we are streaming publicly. Damn, that's crazy. Public, publish. Oh wait, one of these needed to stay unlisted. I think this one's okay. Let us review this guy. probably the one. That's probably it. I'm not too picky. No one's really gonna go back and watch these. They're not super entertaining. There's a couple parts I thought were pretty entertaining, but most of it is not. Okay. I'm gonna leave that so I don't have to log in every time. That's what we'll do. Check out the live. No way, one watching now. Oh, no way. That's me watching myself. Okay. I gotta use the bathroom. So we're gonna do that. All right. Okay, back to work. Oh, I should probably. No, we're not gonna play that game. We're gonna. Okay. Let me think about this for a sec. I kind of like streaming to myself. Like, that's the other thing. Like, maybe no one else actually needs to see it, and I can just keep pretending to stream, you know? I could just do that. Because it has kept me focused. You know? I feel like I'm pretty good at pretending to talk to people, so like faking the live stream is the easy part. The hard part is going to be when there's actually people watching. It's like I'd have to keep pretending that I'm talking to nobody. Like, that's the weird part. I was actually thinking about running this stream with the chat off, or just as off as it can be from my perspective, where I just never have it pulled up and I never see it, and I never know how many people are watching, you know. And so I would just You know, it'd be much easier to just pretend by never interacting with YouTube. Right, and then just like sending the stream out there and not really caring about it, you know? But nobody wants to, but if there's no interactivity, nobody is going to watch it. Which is maybe kind of what I want? I don't know. Whatever. Let's get this thing plugged in. Oh, the cable's going the wrong way. Okay. Not the wrong way directionally, but like the wrong way, as in like the cable was upside down. It needs to be like this. Wait. Yeah, it needs to be like this. Boom. Right? Yeah. Yeah. And then I can run this side of it. This is a display port to HDMI cable. So I should be able to go HDMI in to the AverMedia C127. Ba-boom. Right, and then, because this is great, because now I don't need a splitter, right? I can just go to Windows and I can just Windows key P, duplicate. And then I can go to full 16:9 video capture device, settings. Configure crossbar, serial digital in, boom. I do have 2 of these cards. I was considering installing both of them and then having one for one for analog and one for digital, so I didn't have to frickin' switch it around every time. But that's just weird. Whoa, 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 whoa. What was that? What is that? Weird. That was probably very loud. I just kind of always assume it's very loud. Oh, actually with this, I think we can do device default. Right? And then... Okay, yeah, that looks not correct. Audio output mode, capture audio only, and what's that? I don't know. Device. Oh, I assume the default is not. Let's Windows key P, and then we'll extend. Maybe it'll figure it out. Nope, oh, it's not gonna figure it out at all. Okay. We are going to custom 1920 by 1080. Match output FPS, highest is fine. Okay. So, this is not working at all. Which is kind of weird. 1920 by 1080. Boom, boom. It must just be the, I guess it's just the, I guess we'll just have to use a straight HDMI cable, which is fine, but I don't have any that are this short, unfortunately. And also this monitor is DisplayPort, so I figured, well, maybe it'll work better or something. Probably doesn't make a difference. Well, you see, it shouldn't make a difference because these are the same cable. I mean, it's like the same protocol, practically. But actually, maybe it's slightly different. This seems to suggest it would be slightly different. It's literally like, this guy can carry audio, and I mean, yeah, it's just a cable. I mean, they practically have the same number of pins. Anyway. HDMI, that is preferred. I do actually have a short HDMI cable, I just don't know where it is. I've got like a really long one and a really short one. Alright, I gotta go find that. Found it. I was using it in another room on it was between an HDMI splitter and an HDMI switch. Honestly, this probably would be better suited back there, but this is actually just the closest HDMI cable, so we're just gonna use this one. I'll just bump that. Hopefully we're still okay. Okay, good. These FireWire ports are super loose. Like they don't sit well. And I think that's probably why USB 1, because like the tolerances on this on the port and the plug are just not great at all. Not great at all. Okay, so that didn't really work either, interestingly enough. Even though this card should, no, get out of the way. This card should support 1920 by 1080, but you see that actually they're both doing this. And it's slow. Okay, we are going to yeah, we are going to restart. I do not expect this to work in the slightest. Not even a little bit, but it's worth a shot. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I took Karen's legs off. No longer on the chair. For now. I just didn't feel like bringing the chair up, and there was space here, so I just popped it right there. It's just less in the way. I really only need it for the basement where there's literally no room to put this thing. But if I've got room to put this thing, I can just take it right off the chair and pop it on the desk, which is nice. Okay. Let's deactivate, and then reactivate. You know what? I wonder if this thing only supports up to 1080i and not 1080p. You know, that would be something. That would be something. Let's ask 7 1080p. Oh, yeah, 1080, probably 1080i 60. Ooh, 1080p 30. I forgot that. Okay, so what it sounds like to me is I should be able to go here and then go to here. Okay, it literally changed nothing. Except now my display is in... This is 30 hertz? Looks like 60 hertz to me. Like, I selected 30 hertz, but this does not look like 30 hertz. Let's go back to 60. Why do 60 and 30 look exactly the same? 23,976? No. There's no way. There's no way. Let's do 60 interlaced. Nope. I feel like this monitor is not actually taking what I'm telling it to. I should have used my other monitor. My other monitor is big and bulky though, so I didn't feel like bringing it from the basement. And it's also 16 by 10, so it's 1920 by 1200, which is too big. But maybe it would work better than this. Like maybe it would do what I want it to, because I don't think this is doing anything. It just seems like it's putting out 60 no matter what I do. But if I switch to 60 hertz interlaced, it still looks like crud, which tells me it's probably not interlaced. Alright, let's try second screen only. Okay, that doesn't help. Now I can't see what's going on. It doesn't know what it is. It has no settings. So if I click extend these displays, and then I click, wait, nope. Now let's drop it down to 720p. Still looks like that, but we now need to go here, settings. Oh, it's hiding. And then configure. Hello. What? What? Interesting. Well, that's not working. Let's go back to 1080p. That's not 1080p. 1080p. Bruh. What? That doesn't make any sense. Let's deactivate for a sec. Set this back to 1080p. And now let's activate. Alright, I give up. There's something funny about this card, I guess. Just when you switch between the two types of input, for some reason it seems to wig out. So now we're at 1080p. That's fine. Cool. Okay. Now let's see here. Make sure my chat's pulled up first of all. Actually, I'll just be in the kitchen. Getting me some applesauce. Can confirm adding lemon juice to applesauce is pretty good. There's like a little bit though. Alright, what next? We'll put up the other camera. Might as well. I got a lot to do in the living room, so. But yeah, this is why the other stand is better. Well, actually, they both pivot. They both pivot pretty well. Boom. So at first glance, you might think this is like the other one where it's got a small base and then this part goes up. But instead, the legs actually come out. Now this is probably better for stability reasons, but this thing ain't all that stable. So like it's nice. It's nicer than that one, but it's still not like nice. It's just kind of nicer. Nice-ish. I'd say the only thing that makes it actually nice is probably the top here, which is very tight for some reason. It's fine, it still moves. Took me the longest time to figure this one out. This mounting mechanism is like funky. But I'm pretty sure I have it set so this isn't back. Yeah. Swag. But of course, see, I used this stand over here. But now I got to use the wide stand over here, which is just kind of like in the way. So I should have thought that one through. I thought I was gonna use. I did that because I thought I was gonna use this guy right here. Got the little tripod, and I was gonna set it up like up here or something, or just like that, and then point it down. But this tripod is the nicest of them all. Actually, it's all metal, holds real well. The problem is it is not as adjustable you know, makes sense. How do I get this off? You can even hold it like this. Hand cam. Okay, I tightened that on pretty good. The adjustability limitations of it would be fine if it weren't like unadjustable in direction, right? Like I tighten this thing on, and then the legs are wherever the legs are, and you know, you can set the legs to different heights to sort of tilt it like this, like back and forward and backward. But because you can't put legs like, you know, dead center, right? You can't put the legs where you want them around the circumference of the circle, or I should say I guess the radius of the circle. These are kind of like radii. Can't put the radii where you want them. I don't think that word works like that, but I'm using it like that. As a result, you try to tip the camera and it doesn't tip like forward. It tips forward and to the left a little bit, or to the right a little bit. And so it's just not, it isn't very consistent. And of course this thing's very heavy, so it tends to, like, once you start tipping it, it tends to want to just fall over. So, which is fine if you just be careful and don't push it around, but it's not the greatest. Applesauce. Then, oh yeah, also this guy had the shotgun mic on it before I moved it to that one. So let me try to move this out of the way as best as I can. And then we're gonna use this. This one's way too long. It does not need to be this long. I did want to show you the internet situation at the moment, at least how I'm getting it up here. The cameras are kind of big for that. Oh wait, that's right. This guy lifts off pretty easy, actually. So let's figure out where I want to move this guy. Honestly, over, not the front. That's fine. Not that big of a deal. Oh, batteries. That's the other thing. So I do have a bunch of batteries. They're old. We'll see how they do. If I wanna show, then I gotta not be tethered by power. How would do? There's some. Hold on, this guy's trying to do something. Why is it in black and white? What the heck's going on here? Black and white 24. Is it one of the scene files? Hold on. Oh, wait. Huh. It's the eyepiece itself is really messed up. I don't think I've looked down the eyepiece. I feel like I've looked down the eyepiece of this one before. But yeah, it's black and white. I think internally it's composite. No, actually, no, that wouldn't explain it. Like, if there's a wire loose and it goes from... No, that wouldn't be it. That's not how it works. Well, so it might not be a broken trace, like going from the video processor to the screen, but it might be part of the video processor itself, where it's... you know, missing the chroma of the picture, assuming the video standard used internally is NTSC. Right. So there might be a portion of that. But no, because this display here has color. Yeah, that's funny. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe sunlight got in here. There's a warning on this thing that says if sunlight can damage components. I bet this thing got sunbeamed and it just wore out the LCD. That's probably what happened. Okay. Boom. We can close this. Oh, actually, I do have to... I think this is the camera that doesn't turn off. Oh, it did turn off. Pleasant surprise. Don't know how successful this will be. I might just ruin the camera because you're not supposed to hot plug FireWire devices because you'll break the cameras. I don't know. Probably should have rigged that cable better. Well, I'll be carrying it anyway, so. Let's power on. Let's camera only. And then source settings. Oh, I gotta open up a new net stream. Oh yeah, I had an issue with this before. Okay, it's not showing up. Oh, I should open up a new instance of VLC. Although I don't have to, actually. I should just be able to switch, but I can't because it's not showing up. Whoa, why did it just go blue? Oh, it just shut off. Oh, did the battery die? Oh. Hello? Maybe 20-year-old batteries is not the way. But I would like longer. Like if I could find, actually I could just splice in wire here and make it crazy long. Camera's facing, not me. Just make a super long DC cable and then like zip tie it to the FireWire cable. Boom. Okay. So see, but I feel like I had batteries that worked for longer than that. Did I charge them, actually? Because I bought a set of new batteries, but they only last for like 10 minutes. Which is kind of embarrassing. Oh. Okay. I think the camera just died. Like, I think it just got cooked. Which is a little sad. But it might just be that those batteries are not cutting it. So let's let's just go for infinite power. Infinite enough, at least. Yeah, okay. Yeah, screw those batteries. I don't want to use batteries anyway. Alright, well, you can't necessarily see it. But... This is kind of funny. What am I doing? Let me just do this. Boom. You can see in there, I am like right next to the microphone. ASMR mode. That is a power line adapter. As you can see, it's plugged into an extension cable. And that extension cable runs all the way down to my UPS in my server rack, and then I've got network cables going out of it from the Stream PC, well, to the Stream PC and to the other. Can I use the... That's too slow. Just do it manually. So, that was a pretty clever solution, I thought. The AI didn't think it was going to work. AI was like, oh, the characteristics of it's not the same, you know, yada yada, whatever. I don't care. I plugged it in. I mean, it was like $15 for a pair on eBay, right? So, oh, but then I also got a noise filter, right? So, ironically, the other power line adapters plugged into a noise filter to prevent the noise, if you will, of the network running over this extension cable from backfeeding to the house and into my UPS. So I thought that was funny. Anyway, let me check the focus. I think when it's zoomed all the way out, I don't need to focus. No, I do need to focus. Make sure that's somewhat in focus. I'm touching the zoom. Okay, we'll just leave it like that. That seems okay. And then this doohickey is in a bad spot. And is using a cable that is way too long. So we're gonna fix that too. I don't really see me wanting to move this camera anywhere. I'm not doing any kitchen streams because I'm terrible at cooking. And I think I can just pivot the whole camera and like you're basically seeing all of it. yank this. Oof, I just bumped that pretty good. We're still working. It just lagged. Probably went off the what is it? I don't know. This might be too short. You know, it's so funny. Like, cables are either 50 feet long or they're tiny. I thought I had one kind of like this that was like a little bit longer. Like this guy's pretty long. I like this one. It's a good size. This one's too short, really, to be useful for anything. Feels like. But then I thought I had another. You know what? I actually might not. I might not. It's kind of funny. So I guess we'll actually have to use this one. I'll look again. I'll look in the basement. I'll look in here first. Oh, okay. I couldn't find it. I don't think it exists, but I'm pretty sure it does. This camera is still on. It's like half on, half off. Yeah. It's like, for what I need these cameras for, like this one works. This one works. Video and sound out the digital video port. So, but they're all still just a bit wonky, you know, because there's 1,000 other things they can do, and I'm just not really using them for. I don't like how I ran this cable anyway. I ran it out front, but I don't really have a need to do that. Oh, I might swap the cameras around. one's just in the way. It's not really in the way. Honestly, if that tripod were over there, it would be more in the way. So, and I'm lazy, so we'll leave it. We're gonna take this. Where do I want to? Like, I need this cable out of the way, basically. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna run it out the front, sort of. I'm gonna run it more down the side and then under. And I'm gonna loop it with the excess extension cable, which means I'm gonna set aside a loop and then about yay much, and then I'm gonna take up some of this. I'm gonna actually So if you want your cables to last a long time, you gotta let the cable sit how it wants to sit. How it was, essentially how it was manufactured to sit. Otherwise they get kinks in them, right? Then your $100 cable's worth, well, then your $100 cable becomes a $0 cable, is what I should say. Side. I'm actually going to loop it again. I used way more than I thought I needed. That's fine, it is a 25-foot cable. Under, then over. I feel like I did this better the first time. I think I did too. No, I didn't. Just the one. You might think this is unnecessary, but like these cables, like I already just said like how finicky these FireWire cables are. Why I built my entire workflow around them, I have no idea. Well, I do, it's because these cameras were FireWire, and I liked the idea of having audio and video over one cable, and having that cable be, not really require a capture card necessarily, right? Because FireWire is just a data bus, right? But you can't do this with USB. I mean, you can, but you need drivers. This is just like It just does it. Right, that's what I like about it. It just does it. And that's grand. Let's get a little bit more out here. Boom, boom, boom. Let it hang out a little bit. And now we'll take from the other end the spool. To be honest, we might end up using all 25 feet of this if we're running it like this. Having to go down and over and up, you know, wasting all this. I shouldn't say wasting, I should say taking probably the least efficient path, or a very inefficient path, you know, because the most efficient path is obviously a straight line, but then it gets in the way. I don't want the cable in the way. Alright, that was more than necessary. Actually, no, I mean, I probably want to loop it around the camera at least a couple times. Let's see here. Loop it around like this. Boom. You can't see what I'm doing. That's pretty good. And then we'll have it go. I suppose we'll just have it go down in front, like so. Boom. Okay. This is backward, which means I'm going to actually have it come from the top. Haha, yes. Pull a loop out of it. That. But now I'm running out of space. Should have it come up. That's cool. Alright, I just have a little bit extra that I'm gonna roll on down to the loops that I've got over here. I'll just tuck it under because it's easier. should have put it over. It doesn't really want to go either way, but it's got to go one way. I don't really want this going in front. That's the other thing. I plugged it in over here because that was easiest, but I don't want it plugged in over here because I have to walk over it. And I'm using both outlets over here unless I find a power strip. See, the power strip I was using up here originally is now down underneath the server rack, but I want to keep that one there because I need it there now. It's funny how that happens, you know, you put something there thinking, oh, this is temporary, and then it stops being temporary. And now I'm down a power strip. I have another power strip that's going to go on over. You can't see where I'm pointing over there, but it's currently on the bench. All right, I gotta use the bathroom. Okay. That's right, power. I do not want to be walking over it all the dang time. This we are going to move to here. It's looking better. See, normally you might be thinking, why is this guy streaming this? Right? Because it seems like I'm still trying to get set up for this stream, basically. But, like, that kind of is the stream. Right? So, Like once I get this thing powered up and I'm online, it's like start streaming. It's like, okay, go. And now working on getting it set up here. Just fine, because you know, you don't have to watch. You really just need a power strip, but I cannot think of any off the top of my head that are free. It's funny actually, the one that I used down in the basement under the server rack is actually one I just acquired. Not three weeks ago. It's already in a permanent spot. Always lacking a power strip around here. Always need more power. I do have solutions, they're just inelegant. I have these splitters. I'm actually using one like inside here. It's just like, it looks like an extension cable, but the cable itself branches off into 4. I got a couple of those. This one, of course, has found its permanent home in here. It's literally never, I mean, it's never leaving. There's just like, it's perfect. It's a perfect application for it. I was originally thinking that I was gonna have a power strip down here. Like that's why I left this opening here. I was gonna have it go across, but then it just, wasn't enough space for stuff. It just didn't fit very well. And then I went with the power line adapter, and that was just like brilliant. But it works too, because AI disagreed, but also the AI is retarded, so yeah, his opinion doesn't really mean that much. Anyway. Because here's the other thing, is that I'm gonna need more I'm gonna need more power at some point anyway. I've got these outlets here, they're both used. I've got these outlets here, they're in the way of the hallway and I don't like walking over cables. There's these ones over here and there. And those will be plenty for what I'm doing over here. You can't see. I also just like thinking about stuff, and I don't really like doing it. That's the other thing. Tell you what, I'm gonna start by cleaning this because it's a mess over here. There's just like stuff. There's just stuff here. Doesn't need to be here. This I'm gonna take to somewhere else, and I think the rest of that's gonna go to the basement. This is just gonna get checked in a room over here. Actually, this stuff's gonna get put over here because it is something I'm actively working on. Kind of, sort of, actively working on. These can just stay here. I'm not gonna have the Wii's set up here. Oh well, I could. Where do we have the Wii set up? Well, I'm using that TV now, so it makes more sense to just run video over to the streaming setup than run everything else over to the TV. So that's what we'll do. Just a little here. I got this distribution amplifier, so I can just take composite component and then dump it to wherever I want. It's really pretty handy. handy for today, in fact. This I don't need here. This can go to the basement. This can go to the basement. This could honestly just go to the garbage. Like, nah, I like having manuals for things. It's kind of nice. But then I'm always never sure where to put them. This will get figured out later. This is one of my favorite cables right here. I have a lot of favorite cables. Had this one forever. This one came from a Compaq computer. You probably can't see it. It says Compaq on the side. It's kind of baller. From before HP bought them. There's a plug on the side of it. Yep, and boom. So it's kind of helpful for when you just need one more. And when one of the devices you're plugging into the wall is a C19 or C13 or oh bother, I gotta see. This is another thing I usually can't remember what things are called because there's two different options. I want to say it's a C19. I'm super certain this is C19. No, that's the big one. Of course, the big one has the bigger number. C13 is the smaller one. Okay. So yes, one of the devices you need requires a C13 power input, and this is nice to get one more. Just gotta make sure I unplug the monitor and not the desktop computer. I can't remember. It should be the first one at the wall. It should be this guy. Bingo. Of course, now I gotta run this guy to the monitor. Yeah. You know what? That's fine. That is fine. So, I mean, honestly, like at some point, I do want to put another monitor here at some point in the future. I just don't need it now. But of course, when I do that, I have to plug this camera in somewhere else. Isn't that funny? So where would I want to put the camera? Last time I had the camera here, I had the power cable running across this other hallway, and it was plugged in over here. I didn't really like that solution. It was quick. It was dirty. I do know where another power strip is. but unfortunately it's really hard to get to. It's not being used right now, and it won't be used for a while, but putting it there was a pain. There's a desk, and this desk is up against a wall. It's up against a basement wall, so there's like space behind it, which is nice, like to like reach around and get under it. But there's a hole in that desk, and through that hole goes the plug for the power strip, right? So the power strip is like, only has about this much cable showing. And that's because it goes to an extension cable, which is just barely long enough to reach, right? Which means in order to unplug it, I gotta like reach like behind the desk, which isn't the hard part. Well, actually, it used to not be the hard part, but now it's the hard part because there's a bunch of stuff in front of the desk. You see, so I gotta move a bunch of stuff, climb over it, unplug something that was really hard to plug in, and then get my and then I get my extension cord. I can't find the other 1 to 4 that I was talking about. I can find that. I have a 1 to 3, but it's like it's a block, it's a chunk. So there's no actual cable there with it. And the cable that I was using on that is now being used as an extension cord for my dehumidifier. See all these cables, like it's funny, you know, like extension cables and power strips, they appear and then they disappear because I use them, because I need them. But I don't really like paying $40 for a power strip. I did once. And ironically, the only power strip that I've ever paid for is also the one that is open on my electronics workbench. It's kind of funny how that works out. And I do have another one, but it's yeah, it makes a weird humming noise, and it's also 40 years old, and it's got like actual outlets inside of it. You'll see that at some point, because I'm gonna try to fix that when I learn more about what's going on under the hood, because it doesn't quite make sense what they're doing, at least on the surface, you know, just by looking at it. But yeah, I want to repair that because it's like a really good, like, hefty metal casing, right? And it's got like actual outlets in it, so I can actually just rip out all the outlets and put in new ones. But then it's really just a matter of how do I wire this up to an outlet, you know? So I'm basically just going to be rewiring it, but I also have to take into account the switch and the fuse, and they've got like these I think they're resistors. They look like capacitors, but I think they're resistors. And they put them between like hot and ground, which I didn't quite understand. They must be really big resistors. Okay, enough of that. Probably have the chat pulled up. Boop, boop. Nobody. Great. Okay. So this is still a fine solution, because when I get that, you know what? This is a fine solution because at some point I will have 2 monitors here. And when that day comes, I will have to move the camera, and then I will figure out where to move the camera some other time. Except there's really nowhere else to move it. I really just have to get a power strip. I am delaying the inevitable use of a power strip because I do not have one, and I do not want to go get that other one that I know about. So that is why we are doing this. Just spent 15 minutes justifying an action when I could have just done the action and been done with it. Even though I had a feeling I was going to be doing it anyway. So how that works out. There's part of me that wants me to run it under the computer. But I'm not. I will resist the urge to run it under the computer. I will, however, run it behind the monitor. Let's see, what's the opposite of resist the urge? If I had to do what to the urge? Give in to the urge, I guess? I gave in to the urge to run the cable behind the monitor. Not as difficult as running the cable under the computer, but definitely more difficult than just plugging something in. That is how my life goes. HDMI ended up under that. I should have. Sorry about that. Okay. But that's okay. The HDMI is easy to move. Ba-boom. Bam. Okay. Man, I'm already tired and it's like 9 something. It's like 10 o'clock. Went for a run this morning too. That was nice. Probably also tired me out a little bit. Also, all this talking too. I mean, I usually talk this much. But I usually don't talk this loudly. That's the other thing. So I'm also practicing projecting my voice. So that way the camera can hear it. Because I don't do that enough. Yeah, this is just gonna run under. This is for sure just gonna run here. One thing that I always forget to do with this cable that I just thought of now is preemptively plugging the plug into the outlet on the side, and then, oh, no way! No way. I didn't think about this. Okay. Wow, that sucks. I forgot. Completely forgot. So the outlet is right up against. That's terrible. Actually, maybe that's fine. The outlet's right up against the frickin' piece of furniture. And so what happens is when this is plugged in into the outlet, it's too small. I don't feel like zooming it in. When it's plugged into the outlet, you can no longer plug anything else into it because anything you plug into it would be where the piece of furniture is. I call this a piece of furniture because the only other thing I know I guess a console. It's a console. It's an entertainment center, except it's not really centering any entertainment at the moment. Originally it was like an 8-track player, so there was a big reel-to-reel inside. This was before I bought it. This is what I've surmised that it used to be, based on the bits and pieces that they left. Probably a reel-to-reel player, because there's a part where it's not painted on the inside, but it is stained, where the stain stops and it's angled. It's angled very aggressively up. So my assumption is that there's an 8-track player like built into this unit, and then there's storage for tapes directly underneath that. And then on the other side, there's some drawers and stuff. Yeah. Enough about that piece of furniture. This isn't gonna work, which means my only option for getting more outlets is to go on a basement adventure. When I could you see all this time, I could have just plugged the camera into the wall over here, and then just walked over the cable. But instead I spent the last hour humoring myself. Because I know this setup is going to be here for another couple weeks. That's the reality of it. I know it's going to be here for a couple weeks, and I'm going to be stepping over it for 4 whole weeks. 3 whole weeks. I'm going to be stepping over it. And then I'm going to trip over it. Now I'm going to trip over it, right? Because I said it. Go figure. Now I gotta move it. Now I gotta move it. Now it's gotta move. I just don't know where to. What a pain. See, because now this solution won't even work when I get a second monitor over here. Because now I'll have to. Yeah. Yep. It's power strip over here. It's just gotta happen. It's gotta happen. It almost might be worth bringing a camera down. Like, that's how annoying this is going to be. It might even be worth bringing a camera down to show you how annoying this is going to be. I'll just get it done. We're just going to go do it. I'm not even annoyed about the fact that I have to go remove it. It's the fact that I'm going to have to go put it back one of these days. That's the part. Because I'm going to have to go put it back, like, a couple months from now, probably. Probably going to put it there again, and then I'll be shooting myself in the foot. Alright, after climbing over stuff, I was actually able to just yank it. I'd have to get my hand back there a little bit to like hold the extension cable, but then I just kind of was able to yank it from the top, so that wasn't as bad as I was expecting. But there's just no way I'm plugging it back in. I think I had to move the desk it's behind to plug it in. I had to like get back there. So let's see. This cable's not that nice. It'll just hang out. There's enough space down here for stuff to just, you know, chill. I'll just plug in. See, what's nice about cheap technology is that it's also technology you tend to not really care about, right? Where like, if this were a $100 power strip, I'd be like, you know, a little bit more careful with it. It wouldn't really have to be though. But yeah, like with a $50 cable, you want to keep it nice for a long time, and so you try not to kink it, and you're careful about how you let it hang. You also don't want to break the port on your camera, you know, by just like letting the cable and the force of gravity pull it down, right? But when your cables are cheap, and you know, C13s are everywhere. These things are spilling out of the walls at my house. I've even got one that's got an outlet on the side of it. It's crazy. Everywhere. The one that my computer's got it's got a right angle. You know, I just got these cables everywhere. The most plentiful cable at my house is a C13 to what's it called? Is it like a NEMA 15R or something? I don't know. NEMA ratings. Let's learn about NEMA ratings. Because I've never actually done it. Oh, can I actually just stream this now? Hey, I can, okay. So we've got ratings like NEMA 1, 3, 4, 6, 12, 13. And these are environment standards for how it'll keep up against the environment. Ooh. Okay, so NEMA is more generic. This is for enclosures. This is slightly more, but it is still for, no, it's part of the acronym, electrical. Right? But these are for the enclosures. I assume that extends to outlets. It certainly extends to outlets. So yeah, interesting. That's the rating. What is a standard outlet called? Oh, no, NEMA 15. Okay, no, I was right. It's a 515P. And then the 15R is the receptacle. Assuming we can trust the AI. There are some things that I'm very willing to trust the AI on. Because this is not very complicated, right? It's like these things have very cut and dry definitions, right? And all it has to do is read basic English from a source that says, this is that, and then it regurgitates, this is that, and it's not a problem. But that only works when the answer to your question is stated in very plain English. And for most things, that is not the case. Right? When you're going to Google, the answer to your question, or at least when I go to Google, the answers to my questions are not spelled out for me. Right? And that's just because I'm looking for complicated pieces of information. Right? How to configure this router. How do I make this router work? Right? I can't just punch in, how do I make this router work? Right? I actually have to learn about it. But then if I just say, what is this plug called? I mean, that just has a very clear-cut definition. Alright, enough of the AI rant. I need to see my Discord. My Discord is honestly probably totally fine. There's just people I actually know on there. Although these people are funny. These people are, yeah, they're all fine. Doxing myself a little bit. Retro Game Con, show up, be there. Syracuse, New York. What are the dates for that? You'd think I'd know. The dates for that. Trying to play it. It's always the first weekend in October though. That's the thing. It's the first weekend in October every year. But as for what the actual numbers are, that's too far out in the future for me to ever remember. I'll never remember numbers like that. Damn, it's the second weekend in October. That's right, because we're fighting. Who are we competing against? New York Comic Con. New York Comic Con does theirs on the first weekend of October. Right? And so oh man, see, I can't remember. Let's pull up those. But it is the second weekend. The second weekend. Second weekend in October. Let's go. No way. I baited myself. I was right. It is the first. I think last year was the second. Okay, well, first weekend in October. I'll never remember it. Oh well, let's plug this damn camera in. Bam. You know how long it took me to plug this camera in? You know how long it took me to plug a NEMA 15-15P into a NEMA 15-15R? Way too long. It took me a whole hour and a half practically. But we got it. Okay. We'll power this dude on, I think. Right, we got the cable, we got the power. We have the power. And now we have light. Do I want to... Oh, that's right. I was trying this before, but the problem was sometimes VLC doesn't like to, I guess, have two cameras on the same... I mean, they're different instances. It doesn't like to run two instances at the same time. It just likes to throw errors. But maybe this time we will not have that problem. Does it show up? It does! Play. Ooh, we might be getting errors. Because it didn't work. I bet the errors are hiding from us. Nope. It's interesting. I wish there were a way around this. Oh, I'm sorry, there is. Yeah, I can just go back to the VLC, and then we can just open the other one. Oh, the other one's gone! Oh, that's because this is an old instance of VLC and that needs to... There's no refresh option. I'd have to just close it. Which I could do. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's weird. Don't know why it's doing that. Probably turn this down a bit actually, I just saw it get to the red. Maybe I might have been projecting too much. Okay. Not projecting metaphorically, but like actually projecting. Like speaking loud. Yeah, I don't know why that won't work. See all this effort to get the camera up, and doesn't want to work. See, I wish these. That's the other thing, is that I wish these issues had solutions, but they don't. They just kind of solve themselves, which means there was really never a problem to begin with. It was just like, you know, on the fritz, I guess. But like, I've had two cameras going at once before. I've used a longer cable than this too. It could be cable length, Oh, you know, it could be the port. I wonder if the port on this is shot. See, ever since I read on the internet that hot plugging FireWire can cause you to like short out the ports and just like damage them irreversibly. That's always like something on my mind. Like, oh, did I damage the port? Oh, did I damage the port? Right? Because there's really no other reason why this shouldn't be working. Because I just had this camera going a couple days ago. It was a different cable. It was with this cable. Oh, I would stink if this cable were bunk. There's no way. There's no way. I mean, Windows is picking it up. It's detecting the device. I just don't know why it won't pull the data from it. It's plugged in. This camera's also doing something that it wasn't doing before. Oh, I wonder if it's formatting on the camera itself. Let's go check out these scene files. Progressive 24. We're actually running them off because that seems to work better. So we'll do that. And now it's 60i. Might have just been that. I'm pretty sure this guy is. Let's take a look. I think there's technically a way to get the OSD to show out, but I'm not sure. I might just be misreading the settings. So progressive is off. So okay, that's why this one's working, I guess. Although it would be nice if it were working. It would be nice if progressive worked, but it seems to like just, I don't know, play funny with the cameras for some reason. Now let's see if this works. It might just be that it's 30 FPS. I don't know. Let's open up. Let's not open up another instance. We are just going to swap to 1. Okay, that didn't work. It did not work. Why did that not work? Oh. Turn off the mic power. We're not using that anymore. Oh, and set these back to input on left and right. It's cool. And then it'd be nice to be able to reset these cameras. That's the other thing. I don't know how to factory reset them. I don't think there really is such a thing as factory reset. I was looking through the manual and I couldn't find anything. I was also looking through just the menus, and there doesn't seem to be a way to just like reset settings. That might be intentional, so you don't mistakenly reset all of your scene files. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be nice just to make them all consistent. Oh man. It'd be nice to make them all consistent, but it doesn't prevent me from using the cameras. Like, they should just, like, all I do is I just leave them on the same scene file. Only have to modify one of them, even if the others are all wacky for, you know, whatever these cameras were doing previously. I can't come up with anything for why this isn't working. What else am I missing? One thing I don't like troubleshooting the stream on stream, because then I have to stop streaming and I have to like reboot, because that just kind of happens sometimes. But also, it never fixes the issue. Actually, I think it did once. No, it didn't. It did not. And I'll just power cycle the camera, I suppose. Because I haven't done that yet. That's the most likely thing to work. That's right, this camera doesn't like to turn off when you hit the power switch. I don't know if that's like if it's configured that way or if the switch is just broken. But this does look different. It says pause on it. Like, why does it say pause? I'm not sure. Oh, it's just cycles of the counters. That's weird. There's definitely a lot going on with these cameras. My lighting in here is just phenomenal, so I don't really need to do anything crazy. I'm also not shooting a movie, right? So like a lot of these settings, like I'm not trying to like adjust all this stuff to get it like just right. I don't really care what it looks like. It looks good enough, you know. I mean, it does look pretty good. Assuming it's focused. That's the other thing. I think these cameras, I think the focus adjustment only matters for when it's up close. But then like there's like a certain focal length that it has where it just like everything's in focus. I think. That's what it seems, at least. But I don't actually know that much about cameras, so there you go. And I just, yeah, there's nothing in the scene file. So actually, I'm sorry. I did not actually restart this camera. I attempted to power cycle the camera, but the on-off switch does not work, and I do not know why. So we'll just unplug it. Still didn't really finish running that wire. Now it's all better. Okay. And plug it in. Boom. The sad reality is I'm not actually expecting this to do anything. You know what I will do though? I will try opening up another instance of VLC, because apparently there's nothing preventing me from doing this. I have done it before, so I'll just experiment with another instance so that way I don't have to keep cutting out the video on the primary one. Pretty sure it is an improvement. Pretty sure. Okay, didn't like that. Let's try again. Like that's the other thing. Like we can just kind of keep trying again. doing it. But I believe that's the definition of insanity. So we won't do that. Well, it's funny. Doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result, being the definition of insanity, is kind of funny, because these computers are insane. Because sometimes it does end up working the second time, and there's no real way to. I guess there's no real way to understand the difference between the first time and the second time, because there must be something different, but it is simply beyond your comprehension. The computer is just not showing itself to you in that way. You've just got no idea what's going on behind the windows. You can have like a general understanding of what's going on behind in the computer, but for troubleshooting purposes, it may as well just be a black box, which is annoying. It's a very annoying part about computers, especially when you're an IT guy and all you do is troubleshoot them. But you just not. Well, actually, I'm not. I can't. It's not fair to. I mean, I'm still an IT guy. Maybe a failed IT guy, but I didn't really fail. I just quit. Because that shit sucked. So maybe. Yeah, I'm still an IT guy. I mean, that's basically what this stream is. It's just IT. Well, so far this stream has just been nothing but IT. Why won't that camera work? Well, I guess I'll try a different camera. I guess that's a good next troubleshooting step. Well, it helps to have a third camera. at least. Yeah, I really wish this guy would turn off. It is kind of funny, like you flip, like you'd think it wouldn't be that hard to do a power switch, but like you switch to power off and nothing changes. It just doesn't. But it knows there's a difference, because when the switch is in power's on when you plug it in, as expected. But when the switch is set to off and you plug it in, it stays off. You're like, oh. So it's not that there's just like a short in the switch where it just always thinks it's on. Like the camera knows, like when you give it power, that the switch is off, so it stays off, or it's on, so it turns on. But then you switch it back off and nothing. So like I feel like there's something inside this camera that says, hey, you know that power switch that's got the physical like button lock on it to make sure you never accidentally hit it? Yeah, you know that thing? Ignore it. Which would be it'd be a very bizarre setting to have. Like that's the reason why the switch is annoying, because you gotta like use your fingernail to like depress the little latch and then flick it. So it's pretty secure. Like you're not gonna accidentally turn the camera off. But yeah, no idea. Well, anyway, fire that off. Swap. This camera was also giving me some trouble, actually. Technically, these are all broken eBay. So these are like $500, $600 cameras, but I'm not paying that much, right? I'm on a budget. But I do like these cameras. So there's enough of them that are like broken, parts of repair, where they do what I need them to. However, this is very much a broken camera. These are broken cameras. But they do in fact power on. And that is all I really need them to do. See, this guy's off and he stays off, which is kind of nice. At some point, what's also nice about these cameras is that they've got a big, several hundred page service manual. So, at some point, well, I want to say at some point I'd be able to fix these, but very early on in the service manual you read that there's something that a Panasonic authorized service center would have, which is the ability to tap into the back of this camera through is probably some type of serial connection, right? And tap right into the processor, and that's where I don't want to say that's where the reset capabilities are. I mean, you could probably reset the camera through that, but I know you can also make fine-tune adjustments to the tape mechanism, for example, right? There are so many intricacies of this camera that are they're just not exposed to the user, and so you have to oh, my camera's out of whack, it needs to be, there's a word I'm looking for, not just serviced, but it needs to be tuned, it needs to be, what's the word? You take an object, it's running out of tolerance, and you put it back in tolerance. Tune is a good word for that, but it's not the word I was looking for. I've explained it enough. You know what I mean? Anyway. Works good enough for me. Well, at least it did work good enough for me until this guy decided to not want to do that anymore. I will also turn this off. And then swap this cable. This is a brand new cable, and I've been taking pretty good care of it, so it really shouldn't be broken. that's right. This one doesn't like the power on. There we go. It takes it a bit. There's a mechanism on the inside that it is in trouble, and so there's obviously when the camera itself powers on, you know, and it goes through a cycle of resetting any physical mechanisms that are electronically controlled. It like has to recycle, where it like doesn't quite do what it needs to, and then it gets it. Sometimes I need some encouragement. It was like a $40 camera, so, you know. I know I am not going to do that. I'm going to open up. I'm going to open up another non-media capture device. Number 1, play. Okay, so I don't think it's the camera. But also, I think it's probably what it was doing before, where it was failing. Well, before, oh, that's right, I told it to log its errors. I don't think I'm getting any. I told it to go to documents. I thought maybe it was downloads? Log. Hey, there we go. Stale plugins. What are you talking about? It's not plugins. Go. Oh, these are both instances are logging to the same place. I don't know if that's problematic. Probably not. Maybe if they both had to log at the same time, you know, they open the file for writing at the same time. That doesn't work. Oh, I've got it right here. Refresh. I know. Useless. See, at least before I was getting errors. Before it was saying, you know, well, the errors weren't super useful, but at least it was throwing an error of sorts. So I assume this is the same issue that I was having before, because it's also doing that with the other camera there. Both cameras power on, so couldn't be that. Neither of them can send video to their out their digital video out ports. Alright. Windows detects it, so I'm like, I don't want to say the port's bad. The receptacle's bad on the FireWire card there. Alright, I give up. We're gonna do it. We're gonna restart. We're gonna restart the stream. See, it's funny because this is like I can't restart the stream, right? It's sort of this like last resort. It's this bizarre constraint in my mind for some reason. Well, the problem is that I've got to, you know, like reopen everything and then log back in and grab my chat box, but whatever, it doesn't matter.